त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव सर्वं मम देवदेव। श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तिसुदेशिकेन्द्रं द्वैपायनं सूत्रकृतं मुनीन्द्रं श्रीशङ्करं भाष्यकृतं यतीन्द्रं मद्देशिकञ्चापि नमामि विद्यै। ओम नमो ब्रह्मादिभ्यो ब्रह्म विद्या संप्रदाय कर्तृभ्यो वंश ऋषिभ्यो महद्भ्यो नमो गुरुभ्यः। सर्वोपप्लवरहित प्रज्ञानगणः प्रत्यगर्तो ब्रह्मैवाहमस्मि। ओम प्रपन्नपारिजाताय तोत्रवेत्रैकपाणये ज्ञानमुद्राय कृष्णाय गीतामृतदुहे नमः। Pranams everyone. We are in the second chapter. We just finished Sloka 50 and we have to start on Sloka 51. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha karma-jaṁ buddhi-yuktā phalaṁ tyaktvā manīṣhiṇaḥ janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ padaṁ gachchantyamanamayam. karma-jaṁ buddhi-yuktā phalaṁ tyaktvā manīṣhiṇaḥ janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ padaṁ gachchantyamanamayam. So Bhagavan, in the last couple of slokas, especially sloka number 48 and sloka number 50, had defined karma yoga. And in Sloka 49, he advised Arjuna and all of us to follow Karma Yoga. In Sloka 48, Karma Yoga was defined as Samatvam, equanimity. Equanimity in action, equanimity while accepting the results is Karma Yoga. And how can we ensure equanimity is only if we are able to dedicate our actions to Ishvara and take all results as prasada from Ishvara. If we are able to do that, then we are able to apply equanimity. Equanimity and non-expectation is Karma Yoga. Doing our duty with that attitude of Ishvara Arpana Bhavana and Prasada Buddhi is Karma Yoga. In Sloka 50, Bhagavan said, Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Skill in action is called Karma Yoga. Why is skill in action called Karma Yoga? Because an action which can actually cause us to remain in bondage, we are able to perform that same action, but just with an attitude change, we are able to convert that action into a liberating action. We are able to convert that action by which our raga dvesha, our likes and dislikes, get reduced. We are able to convert that action into a non-binding action such that no new raga dvesha, no new likes and dislikes are created. And therefore, Karma Yoga is called as skill, is a skill in action, that skill by which we are able to convert an action that can cause us pain, sorrow, samsara into an action that can give us calmness, knowledge and liberation. So this was in Sloka 50. Now 51, which we had just seen, Bhagavan is giving in 51, 52 and 53, these three slokas, Bhagavan is giving the entire summary of Vedanta. The Vedanta's essence is beautifully given there in just three slokas. So Bhagavan is basically finishing his advice to Arjuna. He is finishing this section to Arjuna. So thinking that he has now clarified whatever Arjuna needs, so that Arjuna can actually get started with the war. But then what happens after this? Arjuna asks a question, and hence this chapter continues and Bhagavad Gita continues. So Bhagavan is now summarizing. He thinks that he has given everything now to Arjuna, and therefore he is now summarizing the whole Vedanta in these 3 slokas. He is giving a bird's eye view of Vedanta in these 3 slokas. We'll just quickly see what he says, and then we'll go to the sloka. What he says: moksha is the ultimate goal of a human being. The purpose of any human being, the purpose why a jiva is born, is to attain that moksha. That is universal. There cannot be any change in that. That is the first thing. And then the second thing is, to attain moksha, there are 2 different steps of sadhanas. 2 steps of sadhanas that Bhagavan is giving. So Bhagavan is introducing, or rather he is summarizing those 2 steps of 2 sadhanas, and he says what are the goals of each of these sadhanas. So just this is what is given in these 3 slokas. 1, moksha is the ultimate goal, and there are 2 steps to attain there, and each step, what is the intermediary level where you go before you attain the final jnana or moksha. Now, there are a lot of people, or there could be some people at least, who have been in the spiritual path for a long time. They would have been associated with various satsangs, or they may even have studied Gita and Upanishads, and they still may not know what is the essence of Gita, what is the essence of Upanishads, what should be the sadhana that I should be doing, where will it lead to, how long should I be doing this, am I in the right path, what is the purpose of this human birth. They will still have these questions. They might still have these questions. They might look as if they are in a forest. There are so many trees around me. I don't know which one to take, or there are so many paths that are going out. Which one to take? There is so much of confusion that the people could have in their minds. So Bhagavan is kind of clarifying here. He says basically there are only 2 sadhanas. It's a step-by-step sadhana, and there is only one final goal, and that is moksha. Now people might even know that there is only one final goal, which is moksha, but they may still feel that there are multiple ways to attain that moksha. They think that moksha is something that can be attained through multiple means. It is wrong. It is a wrong notion. Bhagavan is clarifying that the route is only one, and the sadhanas are step by step. Some people might say, seva is one way to attain moksha, bhakti is one way to attain moksha, Raja Yoga is one way to attain moksha, meditation is one way to attain moksha, Nama Japa is one way to attain moksha. So there are lots of confusion. People have various understanding of this. And some people may even think karma yoga is one way to attain moksha. But Bhagavan here clarifies, saying that these are all steps. And it cannot be just that one step will take us to moksha. Sadhyam is only one. That goal is only one, moksha. And Bhagavan classifies all the sadhanas broadly into 2 categories. They can be further divided, but Bhagavan broadly classifies them into 2 categories. One is karma yoga, 2 is jnana yoga. And it is a step-by-step sadhana. Remember, this is the sadhanas that are being provided by our sampradaya. It's not somebody comes up with their own understanding of how it should be. And these two sadhanas, they are not independent sadhanas, but they are linked as steps. So one has to take up karma yoga as a sadhana. Then after attaining what that sadhana has to give us, after attaining that, the person takes up jnana yoga as a sadhana and then attains the final benefit, which is moksha. Moksha is liberation. Now, this is what this sloka says. This sloka says first is karma yoga is the sadhana, and then the karma yoga will take you to jnana yoga, and then this jnana yoga will take you to moksha. It is like a relay race. So one person carries the baton and gives it to another so that they complete the race. So the jiva has to go through the karma yoga phase and then can move to the jnana yoga phase and then attain the finishing line. So here this sloka clarifies that. Now we'll go to the sloka. Sloka 51. Karma-jaṁ buddhi-yuktā hi phalaṁ tyaktvā manīṣhiṇaḥ. Karma-jaṁ buddhi-yuktā hi phalaṁ tyaktvā manīṣhiṇaḥ. Buddhi-yuktā. Buddhi-yuktā. Buddhi-yuktā we know. Buddhi, we were just saying. Buddhi yoga is karma yoga. So buddhi-yuktā means it shows the first stage. People who live according to the karma yoga, according to karma yoga. Buddhi-yuktā means karma yogis. Karma yogis. Karma-jaṁ buddhi-yuktā. Karma-jaṁ means karma-jaṁ. Karma is action. Jam means born out of. So born out of action. What is that born out of action? Phalaṁ. Phalaṁ is the result. Any action gives out a result. And that is mentioned as phalaṁ. So what is that phalaṁ? The result that is born out of action. What is the result that is born out of action? Any action, as I said, will result in either papa or punya. So papa and punya are the results of the action. So karma-jaṁ buddhi-yuktā hi phalam tyaktvā manīṣhiṇaḥ. Tyaktvā. Tyaktvā means tyagah, giving up. Tyaktvā means having given up, which means the karma yogis, they have given up the results of the action. They have given up the results of the action. How are they able to give up? Because they are doing karma yoga. Because they are doing karma yoga, they are able to give up the results of action. When we do an action without the karma yoga attitude, it will create papa and punya. If we do the same action with the karma yoga attitude, we will not incur papa, we will not incur punya. And this is the best situation. Because we do not want to incur any papa or punya, because any papa or punya, we will have to have another birth to exhaust them. So, not creating new papa and punya is the best way to live our lives. So, here Bhagavan says, phalaṁ tyaktvā. Having given up the results, who is able to give up the results? Buddhi-yuktā. Karma yogis are able to give up the results. What results? Karma-jaṁ. Results that are born out of action. How is karma yoga able to do it? We saw it in the last class. Karmasu kaushalam. Karma yoga is a skill which is able to convert all actions, binding actions into liberating actions. So Bhagavan says, having given up, tyaktvā, which means having given up. Bhagavan is not giving a full stop here. He is continuing, meaning this karma yogi will have to continue the next step. There is a next step for this karma yogi. Tyaktvā, having given up. Bhagavan says, manīṣhiṇaḥ. tyaktvā manīṣhiṇaḥ. We'll have to add manīṣhiṇaḥ bhavanti. Manīṣhiṇaḥ means wise. He becomes wise. Having given up the results of the action that are born out, having given up the results that are born out of action, this karma yogi becomes wise, becomes a jnani. Manīṣha means jnana. Manīṣhiṇaḥ means a person who has jnana. Manīṣhiṇaḥ bhavanti means he becomes a jnani. So this denotes the second stage. So Bhagavan has basically given the entire Vedanta in this sentence here. So a karma yogi performs action using karma yoga, and thereby he is sacrificing the fruits of the action, and then he comes to jnana yoga and becomes a jnani. Now how does he become a jnani? And what does he do when it comes to karma yoga, jnana yoga? Bhagavan has not given that steps here, but we know there are 3 sadanaas: Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam. With that, a person attains jnana. Now, once you have attained jnana, once you become wise, what is the benefit of this? What is the benefit of jnana? What is the phalaṁ of jnana? That Bhagavan gives in the second sentence. Janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ padaṁ gachchhanty anamayam. Janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ padaṁ gachchhanty anamayam. Janma-bandha. Janma means birth. Bandha means bondage. The bondage of birth. Janma-bandha. Janma eva bandha. Birth does not give you bondage. Birth itself is bondage. Birth itself is the bondage. It's like, sometimes we say, my ego has a problem. Actually, ego does not have the problem. Ego itself, the problem is the ego. Having ego is the problem. Similarly, birth does not give us bondage. Birth is the bondage. Janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ. Muktāḥ, we know free. Muktaḥ. Bandha, muktaḥ. Bondage, liberation. Vinirmuktāḥ, freed from janma-bandha. So they will attain, even as they are even living, these wise persons, even as they are living, they get free from the bondage of birth. Who? Manīṣhiṇaḥ, the jnani. So even as they live, they get freed from the bondage of this birth and death, whatever. This birth itself, the bondage of this living samsara. And once the body is gone, once the body perishes, what happens? What do they attain? Padaṁ gachchhanty. Padaṁ means goal. We say parama padam. We have this. Padam means goal. Parama padam, the highest goal. Padaṁ gachchanty. Gachchanty means they attain. Padaṁ gachchanty means what? They understand that they are Brahman. They are not born again. Padaṁ gachchanty. The goal, they attain the goal. Now what kind of goal is this? Bhagavan gives an adjective to the goal. Anamayam. Anamayam padam. Anamayam means that which is free from evil. Amayam means disease. A dictionary meaning of amayam means dictionary, a disease. Now, anamayam means without any disease. In other words, without any dosha, without any shortcomings, without any evil. So these jnanis attain that goal which is free from any dosha. It's not that I will go to this, but I will still have a small problem. We know there won't be any problem. There is no problem. Absolutely clear. They attain Brahman, which is nirdosha, free from any dosha. So in the second sentence, Bhagavan talks about moksha. In the first sentence, he has given the sadanaas. So, buddhi-yuktā karma yoga, manīṣhiṇaḥ bhavanti. He becomes wise, which is jnana yoga. And by attaining that, he is able to janma-bandha-vinirmuktāḥ. He gets free from the bondage of birth. Padaṁ gachchhanty anamayam. He will attain a goal which is free from all evils, which does not have any dosha. So, karma yoga, jnana yoga, moksha. Now, we might have a question or we might get a doubt. Bhagavan has said karma yoga, then come to jnana yoga. Question is, until when I should do karma yoga? How will I come to know whether I have attained the benefit of karma yoga? How will I come to know that I do not have the need for karma yoga anymore? Or I can renounce all actions. I can give up all my duties and focus only on studying Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. What is the indication for me to know that I am ready for Jnana Yoga? What is the lingam? What is the indication that I need not do any action? What is the indication for me to say, okay, enough, I will go to Rishikesh, I will take up sannyasa. That I don't need to do any more duties for anybody. So Bhagavan is going to give that particular condition. And under what condition you can say that you have completed karma yoga. Until that lingam, until that indication, one must be in the midst of action. One cannot give up action. One cannot give up duties and responsibilities. Now, when we actually listen to this condition or this particular indication, we will realize that we will have many more births to continue, to remain in action. But it's okay, at least we know where, until when we should do. Otherwise, we will end up taking some wrong decisions. So it's very important to know this. Now, once this condition is fulfilled, we can go to Jnana Yoga and then study Shastras. Now, Shravana Manana Nididhyasana. Now, again, there might be a question. When can I say my Jnana Yoga is complete? When can I say my journey is complete? I did not study, do anything. I am now a jnani. I will not get affected by anything. What is the indication that I have attained the benefit of Jnana Yoga? When can I say my journey is complete? So Bhagavan is going to give those indicators, what we call in Sanskritam as lingam, in the next two slokas. So the next two slokas are important because this is a question we constantly ask. Am I progressing? Am I actually getting any benefit out of this spiritual path? Am I in the right direction? Should I stop? When can I stop? These kind of questions, doubts can come in our mind. So these next two slokas are important because they give us the indicators. So as I said, technically the chapter and even Bhagavad Gita should be over here after Bhagavan gives these two indicators. But then what happens? Arjuna asks a question. And therefore this chapter continues and Bhagavad Gita also continues. So we'll go to Sloka 52. Yada te moha kalilam buddhirvyatirishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya srutasya cha. Yada te moha kalilam buddhirvyatirishyati tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya srutasya cha. So in the previous sloka we saw karma yoga as a sadhana, and as a result of the sadhana a person goes to jnana yoga, and as a result of jnana yoga he gets moksha or liberation. That is a step by step approach. Now, when will I know if I have completed the sadhana of karma yoga? What can be the indicator to say that I have done this karma yoga? Where is the benefit for me? What is the benefit I am going to get? How can I see the benefit? What is the indication for me to know? When can I start jnana yoga? When can I get into the next step? Because once we come to jnana yoga, or a person who has completed karma yoga and comes to jnana yoga, he can very well claim that I have completed all my responsibilities. I can reduce my responsibilities. Because why? Shastric study requires time. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana requires time. Which means I will have to devote time at the expense of something else, which is my own duties. So how will I know that I have come to a stage where I can give up responsibilities? Bhagavan gives an indication, or says under this condition you can claim that you have completed karma yoga. Once you see this, you can say, okay, I need not do karma yoga anymore. So first we will take up see the meaning of the sloka, and then we will do an vichara. Yada te moha kalilam buddhir vyatitya rishyati. Vyatita rishyati. Yada tada. When then. Yada means when. Yada te moha kalilam buddhihi. Te buddhihi. Te buddhihi means when your intellect. Bhagavan is addressing us or Arjuna. He says, when your intellect, te buddhihi, vyatita rishyati. Vyatita rishyati means goes beyond. It goes beyond. It goes beyond what? Moha kalilam. Moha kalilam. Moha means delusion. Kalilam means impure, ashuddham. Moha kalilam, the mist of delusion. Bhagavan does not say ashuddha ashuddha moham. He does not say ashuddha delusion. He says delusion itself is ashuddha. Delusion itself is dirt. So delusion, it does not mean there is good delusion and bad delusion. Delusion itself is bad. Delusion itself is dirt, impure. So he says the mist of delusion, the impurity of delusion. So when your intellect goes beyond the mist or the dirt of delusion, yada te moha kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati, yada te buddhihi vyatitarishyati moha kalilam, tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya srutasya cha. Yada tada, when, then. Now tada means then. Gantasi, you will attain. When will you attain? When your intellect goes beyond the mist of delusion. When your intellect goes beyond the mist of delusion, then you will attain what? Nirvedam. Nirvedam we have already seen. Nirvedam means vairagyam, dispassion. dispassion, nirvedam, vairagyam. When will we attain nirvedam or vairagya? When our intellect goes beyond the depth of delusion. When it is vairagya, when it is said vairagya, or on what should we attain the vairagya? Vairagya means a certain attitude that we have in our mind. What is that attitude? Dispassion attitude. And here Bhagavan says on what we should have this vairagya. We can say I have got vairagya on certain things, which means I have got a dispassion towards certain things. With regards to coffee, I am not having a vairagya. I still have either a strong like or a strong dislike. So I have not attained vairagya towards coffee. We can say that. But there are certain things on which I have got vairagya. Here Bhagavan says you will have to have vairagya on certain things. What are those things? Bhagavan says, Shrotavyasya srutasya cha. Shrotavyasya. Towards what is yet to be heard. You have not heard certain things in this world about certain things. You should have vairagya on them. Shrutasya cha. On what is already heard. You have heard about so many things in this world. On those things also you should have vairagya. So we will attain vairagya on whatever we have seen and whatever we are yet to see. In short, we should attain vairagya on whatever we have experienced and whatever we are yet to experience. This is the sloka's literal meaning. Yadate buddhihi vyatitarishyati mohakalilam tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasra sutrasya cha. When your intellect goes beyond the mist of delusion, then you will attain dispassion towards what is yet to be heard or towards what is yet to be experienced and what is already experienced. Now we'll do some vichara and then come back again to the sloka. Now what Bhagavan says here is, if someone is living his life according to karma yoga, then his intellect will become free of delusion. This is the benefit. What is the benefit of living by karma yoga? The mind becomes free from delusion. If delusion is not on the mind, actually the delusion is on the intellect. If we perform all actions with the attitude of karma yoga, then Bhagavan will remove this delusion that is inherent in our mind or intellect. It's only one organ, only one antakarana inside. That antakarana is divided into mind and intellect. Sometimes it is also divided into 4. Manaha, buddhi, chit, ahankara. So if we perform all actions with an attitude of karma yoga, Bhagavan will remove the delusion that is inherent in our mind. The delusion, we are born with this delusion. It is not that we have got this delusion over a period of time in this life. This delusion is inherent. And if we don't remove this delusion, what will happen? If we think we are super intelligent, we will try to live a life according to what people say. People sometimes call, in today's world, you cannot live like this. In today's world, one has to be like this. In today's world, whenever somebody says in today's world, it is a common excuse for us to lie a bit, not tell truth, cheat a bit, skip some duties, or try to gain something extra from somewhere, or being smart with our words, being smart with our actions. So this is all a common things that we do under the guise or under the excuse of in today's world. In today's world, it is not possible. If we continue with this attitude to say, in today's world, these are not possible. In today's world, it is not possible. If we keep telling ourselves this, Bhagavan will not remove the delusion in our mind. He will not be able to remove the delusion in our mind because we are very adamant, I want to retain this delusion. And the person himself might be thinking that, I am smart, I am successful, you are an idiot, you are a fool. But it will be clear over a period of time that this person has not attained anything. What he would have managed by saying in today's world and trying to be smart and all those things, this person would have only continued to remain in samsara, or he would have gone deeper into samsara. As I said, that today's world, that kind of an excuse, if we keep giving ourselves, we are stopping ourselves from progressing spiritually. We are creating a barrier for ourselves. There are certain things that the Vedas say, one might say it is not practical. What Vedas says is, do not say it is impractical. Just agree or accept it is not possible for me to practice it. That is the correct attitude. That humility that I am not able to practice it. I don't know, I cannot question, I cannot say it is impractical. There are maybe people who are practicing it. Let's agree that it is not feasible for me. Yes, Venugopalji. Hari Om. Venugopalji, you had put your hands up. You are not able to unmute? Okay. Okay. Now we'll come back to the sloka. So, as I said, the mind is basically an antakarana, and it is an antakarana means, karana means organ, antakarana means inner organ. This antakarana is split into, sometimes we split into 2, sometimes we split into 4. Say in this case, let's split into 2, buddhi-yuktā, intellect and mind. There is no physical separation, it's only one organ, and it is split based on the functions. Actually, what is antakarana? Antakarana is nothing but a bunch of thoughts. The thoughts that come out is the thoughts that are actually, the bunch of thoughts that come in is called as antakarana. And this bunch of thoughts can be split into 2. When the thoughts are of the nature of a doubt, a doubting faculty, then should I do this, should I not do? Is it right, is it wrong? That kind of a thought, if it comes, it is called as mind. When the thought says, let's do it, I am doing it, this is right, this is wrong, when it is taking decisions, then it is called as intellect. The rational faculty is intellect, the emotional faculty is mind. The doubting faculty is mind, the decision making faculty is intellect. And we have 2 personalities. We have the emotional personality, we have the intellectual personality. Now, as I said, moham, intellect, the delusion is at the level of intellect. So we will take intellect because we are discussing moha kalilam. because moha kalilam is related to intellect. We'll do a small vichara on buddhi. See, the intellect's nature, the buddhi's nature, the swabhava of buddhi is to discriminate, it is to differentiate, it is to separate things. It is a judging faculty. And this judging faculty, the discriminatory faculty, is called as viveka. Viveka Shakti is in our intellect. When I go in the roads on a hot sunny day in the road, the tar road, I am able to see like water. But my buddhi is clear. It says mirage. It is able to separate. It is able to differentiate. One of the main things that we have to separate, or we do separate in our daily life, what our intellect does is to separate what is dharma and what is adharma. What is right and what is wrong. Nobody can say, I do not know what is dharma, what is adharma. Nobody can say. Even a thief knows what is dharma, what is adharma. Otherwise, why should a thief know or steal when nobody is looking or when that thing is dark? Because he knows that it is not right to steal, it is not right to take another one's property. And even when a thief has a partner, he does not want his partner to cheat him. So everybody knows what is dharma, what is adharma. The second thing that the Viveka Shakti is required, or the intellect needs to know, is what is truth, what is false. What is satyam, what is asatyam. In this scenario, when we say truth and false, we do not talk about the truth in the words that we speak. We are talking about what is nityam and what is anityam in this world. What is the eternal thing in this world, what is there only as an illusion. As I said, only humans have the capacity to do the differentiation. Viveka Shakti is with only humans. What is dharma, what is adharma. What is satyam, what is or asatyam, or what is nityam and what is anityam. Animals cannot do that level of discrimination. Their intellect will work only with the extent of saving their lives. Animals cannot go beyond that. Animals are pre-programmed. Whereas human intellect has this nature, has this swabhava to discriminate. But the problem with this human intellect is, it can also have disease, it can also have sickness. Just like the body has got certain diseases, the body can get some diseases, the human intellect can also have certain problems. Suppose the stomach is not able to, the stomach should digest the food. But if there is a stomach flu, if there is a issue in the stomach, if there is a disease, instead of digesting the food, it can throw up the food. It can behave opposite to its svabhava. So an object need not function only according to its svabhava. If it has a fault, it can perform against its svabhava too. So what Bhagavan says in another part of Gita is, he says every jiva rasi, when they are born, the intellect is not able to perform according to its svabhava. As I said, this moham is inherent. When we are born itself, the intellect has this problem. This intellect has not picked up its delusion in this life. The intellect has this problem even when it was born. It is ridden with this moham, delusion. The intellect comes with a disease. And so because we start with this fault, we start doing the opposite. So which is, we start seeing truth as false and false as truth. What is moham, delusion? The definition is, the lakshanam of moham is, hiteshu ahita buddhihi. Hiteshu ahita buddhihi. Hitam means good. Hiteshu ahita means treating what is good as bad. Opposite. Itesha ahita. So iteshu ahita buddhi means intellect calling what is good as bad. Or ahiteshu hita buddhi. Intellect calling what is bad as good. So understanding the right to be wrong, wrong to be right is delusion. Understanding what is good as bad and bad as good is delusion. The example for this is, people enjoy drinks, people enjoy cigarettes. These are good or bad? These are bad. Ahitam. But many people have a hita buddhi on them. They feel it gives me happiness. These are good for me. Is it a delusion? Yes, it is a delusion. Even if there is a slight feeling that it is bad, the delusion is so strong that it will justify and cover up the intellect. What is wrong? What is wrong in taking drinks? What is wrong in doing cigarettes? I am not hurting anyone. I am not harming anyone. So people justify. This is an example of delusion. So the ashuddha that a buddhi can get, the highest amount of delusion is nitya-anitya delusion. But generally, what is delusion? What is good for us, we will say no to that. What is bad for us, we will say yes to that. In fact, what is actually bad for us, we will take enormous effort and pain to attain that. Many of us do that. In fact, there is a huge competition also for that, because we think that it is good. For the good things in life, there won't be any competition. For Vedanta classes, for Gita classes, there wouldn't be any competition in terms of this. But if there is a movie show, obviously you'll have to put tickets, because there will be an overflow in the stadium, and therefore we will have to put some tickets to ensure that people do not, because there is competition for that. But what is our biggest strength? For human beings, what is the biggest strength? The biggest strength is intellect. Our intellect is the biggest strength. But if the intellect itself is faulty, then what can we do? That is why when someone is having a problem with their intellect, we'll say, no, they will not listen. Don't go and advise, they will not listen. What can we do? Because the intellect is clouded with delusion. The delusion cloud, the mist of delusion has to go on its own. It cannot be, somebody else cannot go and take it out. We will not be able to change anyone. All the problems that arise in our life is because we want others to change, and for others to behave in the way we want them to behave. But that will never happen. Truth be said, we will not be able to change anyone. Definitely by not what we say. If at all there is one person who will change according to what we say, is only one, and that is us. But even us, even our intellect will not change. Our buddhi, our mind, our intellect, even if it says, will not change. But to expect another to change another one's intellect is foolishness. Therefore, the disease or the problem that the intellect has is delusion. Now, what is this delusion? As I said, the biggest delusion is nitya-anitya delusion. Nitya means what? Eternal. Anitya means transient. Delusion means understanding the opposite. So what is eternal? It wheels over. Our intellect is clouded, and therefore we are not able to see what is eternal. And what is temporary, what is transient one, we see that as eternal. We can use Atma to denote eternal, Anatma to denote the transient. So whatever we see in this world are all Anatma, it's all transient. But we look at it as if it is all permanent. We think it's all Shashvatam. We think our money is Shashvatam. We think our youth is Shashvatam. We think our relations are Shashvatam. We think this family is Shashvatam. We think this birth is Shashvatam. We live as if there is no change, there is no tomorrow. And that this is all going to be ever present with us. That's why do we say it's all ever present? Why do we have this feeling that, when I say we all have this feeling that it's all ever present? Because when it leaves, we cry. Why do we cry? Because we have been fooled into thinking that it will be always with us. And that's why when it leaves, whether it be the wealth, people, relations, the situations, we cry. Because the intellect is clouded, the intellect is foolish, the intellect thinks that these are all permanent. So this delusion is common for all jivarasis. What is common? This Atma, Anatma, Avivekaha. We don't have a correct discrimination over Atma and Anatma. We do not know which is Atma, which is Anatma, what is temporary, what is transient, what is temporary or transient, or what is permanent. What is the problem right now is, we understand what is Atma to be Anatma and what is Anatma to be Atma. Because we expect permanence from a temporary object, not recognizing the impermanence of things. That is moha. And this is the foundation of moha. The height of moha. The moha, the biggest moha that we have is Atma Anatma Viparita Jnanam. In our life, we do not know the lakshya, the goal of our life. Because of this Viparita Buddhi, we think Anatma here, this prapancha, this world, this body, all these relations, this everything, we take them to be real, we take them to be true. And automatically what happens, because we take them as real, true, we take them as our goals. Attaining these things in the world as the real goal. Relations become a goal. Having a perfect relation, having my perfect spouse, having a perfect job, having a perfect boss, having a perfect family becomes goal. Money becomes a goal. Wealth becomes a goal. Position in the society becomes a goal. Fame in the society becomes a goal. Power becomes a goal. All these become our goal because we think these are eternal. These are the ones that are the real goals in life. Remember, Shastra does not say you should not earn money. We are not saying don't earn money, don't earn fame, power, position, relations and all, everything. It does not say do not do that. What Shastra says, or what we are saying is, do not take them to be the goals of your life. Money is necessary, house is necessary, relations are necessary, these are needed. These are not goals but means. And understand their transient nature. They will come, they will go. Understand them. Don't cry over them. Don't get overly attached. Delusion means taking up as a goal. Some people have this, I have to get that, that is my goal of my life. The entire life I am dedicating so that I can get a nice house by the villa, by the beach or whatever, or I need to have a perfect retired life, or I need to have a perfect family. Taking up that as a goal of life, that is a problem. Moha means, moha, another definition we can say, taking the sadhana itself as sadhyam. money, power, position, fame, relations, situations are all sadhyams, are not sadhyams, they are all sadanaas. They are all means, they are not the end. But the intellect considers them to be the goal. So because of this, when money becomes the goal, people resort to whatever be the means to gain money. Because money is no more the means, money is the end result. So to attain money, I am willing to do anything. When to attain power or position, I am willing to do anything. I am willing to do anything means what? I am willing to compromise on dharma and adharma. So when these things become our goal, we are willing to compromise on honesty, truth, dharma and all those things. But when we misread these sadhanas as sadhyams, what happens although at the end is, even after, because they are not actually goals. So even if we misread them as goals, what happens is we attain them. But we feel it is not enough. There is more to attain. We don't feel completed. We don't feel contented. So this delusion continues. Because the delusion is there, we think we have attained, but yet we are not happy, we still go further. So the delusion is, in the intellect, is misreading the means as an end. And once we attain that, we are looking for another means as an end. Okay, I have attained certain things, okay, I have attained certain wealth, oh no, there's some more. And we keep continuing, we never satisfied. The journey keeps continuing. It's like chasing the water in the mirage, in the desert. So the journey keeps continuing. What happens? In this life we are not able to continue, we are not able to fulfill. So we take another life. In that life we continue. Next life we continue. We keep continuing. That is what Kathopanishad calls as mrityocha mrityum gachchhanty. From one death to another death, we continue this. This is called as samsara. We end here. More on this intellect, buddhi, how this, what is the benefit of karma yoga, we will see in the next class. Any questions or comments? Not, we will see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.